this is the time to come to Wrigleyville. The Cubs aren't playing. We have our run of the entire neighborhood.
Place is ours.
That's Scott Lucas from Local H right next to me. We are at Cubby Bear tonight. This is Car Con Carne, presented by the Autobarn Mazda of Evanston, 1015 Chicago Avenue. This car we're in, it's really comfortable, isn't it?
It's nice.
It's nice.
This isn't your car?
It's from the Autobarn Mazda of Evanston. Oh. They're letting me use it. It's the Mazda CX-9.
Wow.
It's luxurious.
That's nice of them.
It's nice of them.
Yeah.
It's nice of them to let me rig up some microphones, eat food in the front seat. But this car is super comfortable. It's also super safe. So if you're looking for a family car, this would be a great option.
You got to get a family, though.
You got to get a family.
Right.
If you're looking to road trip, if you're looking to throw a guitar and an amplifier in a vehicle, if you're road tripping, this would be the one to use. Oh, yeah, look at the back row folds down. You got plenty of room for gear.
And look, there's a baby back there, so it's part of the
there
family.
It is. Not mine. Are you ready to do this?
I'm ready to do it.
It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
All right, so we got some food from Cubby Bear, which I want to start eating before it gets cold.
All right.
I got the brat, which is what you do when you're by a ballpark, with tater tots.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
That looks pretty
good.
good.
Actually a really good-looking veggie burger.
Yeah, I got a veggie burger with the world-famous garlic fries.
I can smell those.
Smells good.
Those are a friend maker right there.
Yeah. I'm down. Keeps the girls away.
It does. Pat Gleason says, "Hey guys, great to see you, Mr. Lucas," and that's how you like to be addressed, right?
Yes.
Not Scott.
No.
I mean, especially with all you've done.
Scott's my dad's name.
That's right. With all you've accomplished, you're Mr. Lucas now.
You know what? I'm starting to get used to the idea of being called sir, because everyone's calling me sir.
As you age?
Yeah. I don't like it, but I like it a little bit better than I don't hate it as much as I used to, There's nothing I can do about it.
Right, exactly.
Where I'm at right now.
Steve Boyd on the Facebook Live says, "Awesome, I've seen Local H so many times, always great. Keep it up, Scott."
Thank you.
And that actually leads to a question. You're doing the show at Cubby Bear. You do a bunch of shows in Chicago every year. How do you go about picking a set list? Because, a guy like Steve Boyd on the Facebook Live, he's seen you a bunch of times. He's going to keep coming to the shows. He probably doesn't want to see the same show every time.
No,
and you don't want to deliver the same show every time.
It'd be boring for everybody.
So, for instance, Cubby Bear tomorrow night, how do you approach a set list? You've got decades worth of albums to pull from.
Well, I just came from practice where we were, tackling that very dilemma. Sometimes there's a lot of songs that we haven't played in a while from records that have been sort of overlooked or neglected. So
I can make the case that most of your catalog falls under that category.
Maybe
for neglected.
Some of it for a good reason. So we're just pulling out songs that we haven't played in a long time, and we did that Pack Up the Cats tour last year. So, we're well versed with that stuff. So it's time to pull out some other stuff from other records. So it's been fun. And we've got new songs. So we'll probably pull out some new songs tomorrow.
That's another question. There was Innocence last year. There is more coming.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you never really stop writing.
Sometimes you don't write just to you just kind of want to charge your battery.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of do that. I should probably just not stop writing, but I don't know. I'm lazy.
So would you say you have an album's worth of songs?
We started work on the album. We're doing it in chunks. So, it's as if we were making EPs. The only thing is we're not going to put out EPs. I don't really think that works. But what I want to do is I want to have different sessions at different studios with different people so that the whole record comes together like a salad, So you've got maybe an acoustic session that's just for acoustic songs. Maybe we record a live show. We thought about recording tomorrow's show for that. We do a session at Andy Gerber's place. And that's what we just did, was a session of 4 songs at Andy Gerber's place.
Andy Gerber, Million Yen.
And for Million Yen,
Talented and delightful.
Right. We've done a lot of stuff with him. Mm-hmm. So we just went in there and we had 4 songs that we wrote. And so we recorded them with him, and then we just get them out of the way. And then wipe the slate clean and work on the next thing of songs.
So you can eat, by the way. I feel bad holding you hostage.
I'm fine.
Okay. So the video and song Innocence were last year. Love the video. Michael Shannon going down the rabbit hole of decadence. And I thought that video was the perfect marriage of Scott Lucas, musician, and Scott Lucas, person. You were so interested and so active in talking about film and cinema, and this was a very cinematic approach to a Local H song. And I thought, this is where Local H is going. That marriage of audio and visual.
Yeah. I don't know. That was... I had an idea for the video, and Felix, the director, had an idea for the video. And his idea for the video was very similar to mine. So we just let him run with it. I kind of like... I didn't even need to be there. I picked Michael up and brought him to the set, and that was about the extent of my job.
Seems like a cool dude.
I like Michael a lot. Yeah, he's very cool.
I met him kind of once. It was right before Man of Steel came out. I was at LaGuardia Airport. We were on the same flight, and as we were waiting in line, I didn't want to be too weird, but I'm like, hey, looking forward to Man of Steel.
Yeah.
He said, oh, okay, thanks. That was my Michael Shannon moment.
Probably more than he was.
Well, who knew? Who knew it would be what it was? You're not a superhero movie fan, are you?
No, I'm not. Not at all. Not even remotely.
Are there any you can find? I mean, you can't have a flat-out bias against them all. I'm sure you can find some good in some of them.
I think I can have a flat-out bias against them all. I think they're all pretty crappy. I like Guardians of the Galaxy.
That was fun.
I thought that Thor movie was really good. That Ragnarok one.
Right.
But the other two were horrible, So, I mean, those aren't really good odds, And I sat through that 3-hour Avengers movie. But I didn't know what was going on because I kept falling asleep during the other one. So,
I have that problem with Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
I will tell you the best nap I ever took was during Rogue One, and I know that because I was wearing a Fitbit, and it said I got an hour's nap during that movie.
See, I like Rogue One. I really do. I think it's terrific. I love when people die at the end.
Rich, on the Facebook Live, he wrote a lot. He says, I love the idea of different sessions in different places with different producers. How about coming to Australia for a session?
That would be great.
That would be great. Easier said than done.
That would be great. We've been trying. I love Australia, and we haven't toured there since the 90s. And that is one of the things that I really hope happens. If that can happen, if you know anybody who wants to set up a tour for us in Australia, we're down. And we've done we've been close a couple of times.
What's it like when you tour these days?
You never eat when we do these things.
I know. I need to be better. What's it like when you tour cities you haven't been to for a while? Is it kind of like the tanks liberating Europe in World War II? Is it like a huge reception and celebration?
I don't know. Sometimes we're so rarely away that I've forgotten what it was like. But it's good to go away for a while and then come back. I don't know. We finally made it to Europe after all these years, and
Wait, finally?
Finally, we'd never played Europe.
That seems impossible to me.
Our record company was like, they don't really like rock and roll over there. It's not a good time for rock and roll. This was in the 90s.
I feel like Europe has always been friendlier to rock and roll.
It's insane that they would say that.
Yeah.
It was a total lie. I think the money that they would have had to invest to do that, I don't think they wanted to do it. And they wanted to keep us here, flogging that record.
We're going to do what's called a reset in radio. That's Scott Lucas of Local H. Tomorrow night, Cubby Bear. Local H is performing. AM Taxi and Releaser also on the bill. Never disappointing seeing you on stage.
Thank you.
You rock. Even the last time I saw you, you only played, I think, one of your songs at the Jerry Bryant benefit in Metro. Mm-hmm. I mean, you just killed it. I mean, you come to draw blood when you perform.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. We played Screaming
so
Trees and
Blur.
Played Blur, Oasis. We kind of did a survey of Britpop.
You did.
Blur, Oasis, and Radiohead.
That's right. And as far as that Screaming Trees song goes, I think we can all agree, from that era, that's one of the best singles, hands down.
From that era, it's probably the best band. I mean, they're so good, and their records really hold up.
They really do. And oh my God, Mark Lanigan's voice.
The best.
The best. I was thinking about you driving over here tonight, thinking about Local H's longevity, Local H's career, and you are at a point now where you are that elder statesman. You've done it. Like, you survived the Hunger Games. You are who you are. And I was trying to think of, what is it about Local H that enabled you to survive, thrive, and be successful? And I'm thinking back to all your albums. I'm thinking back to the shows. It seems to me, from the outside, you've never really compromised. You've always had a pretty clear vision and sense of self.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
I mean,
Because I don't know what, I have no idea why.
Well, I mean, it's not like I'm pulling out one of your albums thinking, oh, that's where he sold out. Or
Yeah.
That's where he was pandering. I mean, you were always writing your stuff.
Well, I have a theory, and I think it's because we never got really big. We never even got a gold record. So I think there's this thing where we never quite got never attained real success in the. We have. Don't get me wrong.
I know what you're saying, though.
But we didn't sell millions and buttloads of records, and we were never surrounded by a bunch of yes men telling you, yeah, this is great, you're great, this is wonderful. And so we're always trying, and we're always trying to top ourselves. We're always trying to, and I honestly think our new stuff is if not the best stuff we've ever done.
I was going to say that.
anything.
I didn't want to insult you by reducing your previous stuff, but I think your songwriting's getting better and better.
I think it is getting better. And the stuff that we just recorded, I'm super excited about, because I'm like, wow, the songwriting's really good. What happened? How did this happen? So that, I think, might be the key. So, get some success, but not too much success, maybe?
Yeah, and it's funny, as you talk about your songwriting evolution, when I listen to Ham-Fisted, I know who that Local H is, I understand that sound, but I know that's not the Local H of today.
Yeah, no.
And I'm sure there are some fans who want that Local H to still be there 24/7.
Maybe, but a lot of those people, Ham-Fisted wasn't a hit when it came out anyway, so
Right.
they can I say fuck off? They can
Sure,
fuck
it's a
off.
podcast.
But those people are never going to buy a new record from anybody.
Right.
The 90s are over. They think all good music is over, and rock ended when they stopped listening to new music. Right?
There's a lot of that,
Okay.
absolutely.
And that's every new generation wants to close the door on rock. They want to close the door on the next generation. And every new generation says, the music that I listened to in high school or in my early 20s, that's it. There's no more music. It's like this country. Everybody comes to this country and then they want to build walls so nobody else can get in. It's insane and it's stupid. And so you can't please those people. And I won't even try to please those people.
Matthew Winslow on the Facebook Live, echoing what we've been saying, hardest working dudes in rock. You are. It's that Midwestern scrappiness.
It is. Yeah, the Midwest thing. It's the stubbornness. It's like, maybe we should give up, but there's that thing where it's like, nah, fuck off. I'm not going to do that.
All right, hang on. I need a tater tot.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. You want a tot?
Uh-huh. Thanks for your tot, Napoleon.
I want to thank Cubby Bear for their hospitality in providing tonight's food.
Yeah.
Are the garlic fries good?
Yeah, have some of these garlic fries. They're great. They're pretty soggy, but they're awesome. Last time I saw you at that Metro thing, I want to apologize. You were playing some music, and I went up to, he was DJing, so I went up to say hi. And my idea of saying hi was to play this joke where I come up, and I was quoting Caddyshack. We're like, cut that off.
I didn't realize that's what you were doing.
Off.
Okay.
And I came up to you, and you're trying to pick out the next song, and I've DJ'd before, so when somebody comes up,
That was my first time DJing.
Okay, all right. So you were really on the spot. Right, you DJ all the time.
Not the same.
Oh, in public.
Yeah, where you're kind of making stuff up as you go, and
Okay, but I came up there, and when you're immersed in that, and somebody starts yelling at you, it scares you. And
scared the shit out of me.
I realized, and I felt so horrible after I did it. I'm so sorry.
And well, no, it was funny because at first I didn't even recognize you. Not like I don't know who you are, but it was just out of context, and I was focused. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, it's Scott Lucas, and it was funnier when I thought about it because you were saying cut that shit out as I was playing. I think I was playing Victrola by Veruca Salt.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. So no apology necessary.
Okay. Well, I felt bad about that.
It was very funny. We started talking about your love of films. I mean, you just, that is your hobby. That's your
Kind of, yeah.
It's like a side passion for you.
Yeah.
You've seen. I'm looking at your Facebook. You've seen like 80 movies already this year.
I just saw one this morning called The Souvenir. It's really, really great.
There was a time when I wouldn't even think about going to movies by myself. I do it all the time now, and I kind of love it.
Yeah.
I kind of love not being responsible for someone else and just going and.
I don't even want anybody else in the theater.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, I don't want anybody in the entire building. I don't want anybody on the block in the city. I just don't want anybody there.
So I did the AMC A list, so I can.
I love it.
It makes total sense, right?
Oh yeah, great.
So I went ahead. I bought my Godzilla IMAX ticket for tomorrow, fully expecting it to suck. I got my Ma ticket for Sunday.
Ma.
It's the woman who starts. She
Okay.
buys beer
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
high
yeah.
school kids. Then things take a really creepy turn. I'm optimistic about that. But
So you're one of the guys that does all the
big mainstream
Oh,
blockbusters.
No. You do everything ahead of time.
I do. Well, I have kids. I've got stuff going on. I try to like slot things in when I can.
So what happens when you don't show up?
I haven't done that yet.
Oh, so like if you can't make it, what happens? Do you know?
I think you lose that one of 3 movies for the week.
Okay, all right. I wondered.
Let's see. Mark Garino, the best and most underappreciated band to emerge from Chicago since the 90s. Plus the only band since then that has creatively grown since those first records. Right on.
Thank you.
That's nice to see that, isn't it?
Yes.
You probably don't get that enough.
No.
Pat says your willingness to work with other local artists and friends also helps you stand apart. There is something to be said for, I wouldn't necessarily say you're a mentor, but I mean, you respect the scene, I mean, as cliche as that sounds.
Yeah, I wanted to be a part of the Chicago scene. I mean, I actively seeked people out to talk about music and have beer with. You know, I mean that to me was
like
part
who?
of the fun.
Like, back when you were in Zion, were you looking for like a consult with 11th Dream Day? Like what was going on?
Yeah, basically, like anybody that would hang out with me, and that's how I met Andy Gerber. He was in a band called Laughing Man, and then he was in a band called Rust Bucket, and Rust Bucket was they were one of my favorite bands in Chicago. So I would come hang out with those guys all the time. And even when I first moved to Chicago, like would hang out with Fig Dish and Triple Fast Action, and that's what I wanted to do. That was part of the reason for being in a band, to be around other people who were in bands that could talk about music and cared about music as much as you did.
And even thinking about the 2 mixtapes, covered the Jesus Lizard, Muchacha.
Right.
I mean, so that's a respectful nod looking back too.
Yeah, Muchacha was great, and I mean, you want to talk about underappreciated
For sure.
Just never got a fair shake, and the songs on that first record are just phenomenal.
Phil says we are lucky to have opened for Local H.
No, maybe.
I think up and coming bands can learn a thing or two watching you on stage, because you're so relaxed, but there's like this relaxed ferocity you have. It feels rock and roll.
Yeah, I mean that's part of that's part of the aging thing, but it is a certain comfort. You live in it.
You were talking earlier about people want to bury the past and say rock is dead. It's interesting. My son is a teenager.
Oh yeah.
And he is into rock. He's into metal. He was my +1 for Chicago Open Air 2 weeks ago.
Awesome.
And he was most excited, not about System of a Down, not about Tool. He was most excited about Meshuggah. To give you perspective of where his listening is. He said, I think this is one of the reasons I'm his +1. At his school, all the kids he knows are listening to hip hop and country.
Yeah.
Which is so different from my experience, and I'm assuming your experience in high school. So I think it's careless and stupid to say rock is dead, but it is in an interesting spot now. It's not in that pole position that it was with youth. Now I'm sounding like an old man.
Yeah. No, I mean, hip-hop is... But, I mean, even when I was in high school, hip-hop was huge, and Run DMC and,
for sure.
NWA. It was crazy, So there was, but it was almost like hand in hand with like punk rock.
For sure.
You know, punk rock is still punk rock, and now hip hop is all consuming. You know, that's interesting.
Lyndsey Marie, who used to do middays at the Loop, R.I.P.
Hey.
Loop, says Stud City.
Oh,
Right
talking
there,
about you.
right there,
Talking
right there.
about you.
Speaking of the Loop,
She just got engaged, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations.
I've only said it online, so I'm going to say it right here. Congratulations, Lyndsey.
Yay.
Love you. Speaking of the Loop, that Metallica mini tour.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? I haven't really talked to you since then. I mean, about that.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was crazy.
I remember I was working on the Loop, and I'm the one who ran the call with Lars when he called to say we're proud to announce that Local H will be our opener.
Yeah, that's right.
And I kind of got chills when he did it. I'm getting chills talking about it right now. That must have been just beyond thrilling.
Well, we were setting up for sound check. We were somewhere on the East Coast. I can't exactly remember where, but we were listening to it on my phone. And it was,
Oh my God.
we were streaming from the Q11 app or something like that.
Loop.
Oh, Loop app. Oh, God.
R.I.P.
Sorry. Yeah, it was the LUP
Yeah.
Loop. So that was cool. I mean, we knew that they had told us already that we'd won, but hearing it was still kind of a...
It was pretty badass seeing you on that stage at Soldier Field.
Oh, man, you know, Master of Puppets is such an important record to me. Like, I just wanted to stay out of their hair, and, you know, I mean, we were the lowest people on the totem pole.
Sure.
And they're basically, everywhere they go, they're employing cities. You know, it's crazy. It's like a little city. Like
Oh,
in
the
their
backstage.
place. Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just one of those things where we were just trying to hang on, you know.
That's fun that you could be, you know, a fan, have a fanboy moment as an established artist.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, sincerely, you know, that was a big deal, and getting to see those guys play every night was really cool too. So, I mean, I didn't take any of that for granted, and I never got comfortable, except maybe on the last two songs of the last day when we were playing in Chicago. Finally, I got comfortable.
Yeah,
I was
that
like,
makes sense.
Now I'm having fun, and it's over. You know.
Exactly. We were talking before we were recording about streaming. PJ Souls is MIA. At least on Google Play Music. I'm assuming it's on MIA on all platforms.
It is. I just got a mastered version of it that I can upload.
Awesome.
I have to take it I have to take it somewhere and get it. The problem is I have to get it authored. So I have to re-author the mastering of it. So,
Okay.
you know, because of like crossfades and stuff, so I have to redo all that stuff. As soon as I do that, I can upload it, because that's my favorite record of ours.
People need to have Everyone Alive on their playlist. People need to have California songs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, I'm sorry about that. It will be remedied.
Well, that's good. All right, I want to eat a little more, and I should mention Car Con Carne is presented by the Autobarn Mazda of Evanston. Teresa says yes. I'm assuming that's about the PJ Souls
Okay.
coming to streaming. As we kind of wind down, and again, you're here at Cubby Bear tomorrow night performing. AM Taxi Releaser also on the bill. I want to mention the opening bands. I want to just throw out a bunch of Local H songs. Just get your first impression. Get you riffing on not necessarily all the hits, but just some songs that I like and people like.
Okay.
See what you think.
Go.
Let's start with Blue Line.
Blue Line. Kind of
There's your Chicago-ness again.
Yep. Kind of I was kind of trying to write what's the Pretenders song? The doom doom doo 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 doo.
Mystery Achievement?
Mystery Achievement. I was trying to do a Mystery Achievement there. So if you listen to it through that lens, you'll be like, oh yeah, it's totally Mystery Achievement. So yeah.
Another February.
Another February is, I don't know, maybe the best song on that record. That was it's sort of like a cross between Hands on the Bible and Fritz's Corner. That was kind of the idea. And then there was sort of that Iron Maiden, Hallowed Be Thy Name, that don't
Yes.
So with that like sort of 4 on the floor beat.
Well, since you mentioned Hands on the Bible, let's talk about that. Seems like a song that certainly still works today.
Yeah, that song really worked out, and that was like that we were ready to make Here Comes the Zoo, and we thought we were ready. And the guy that was assigned when we went from Island to Chris Blackwell left Island and he started Palm Pictures. So we pretty much knew we wanted to follow him. As soon as that happened, we were like,
course.
You know what? We went to Island. We said, here's a record. This is what we're going to do. If you don't want it, let us go. We don't know any of you anyway. And they're like, oh, yeah. Go away. You know.
That's the music business right there.
Here I had this big head. I was like, oh yeah. And they're like, yeah, fine. and I'm kind of like, oh, all right, cool. I will go. And so we which was kind of part of our plan. It was like a Brer Rabbit type of plan. So it was like our Briar Patch was Palm Pictures. So here we were, and we had a new A&R guy, and it was Michael Lago who signed Metallica. And so he's listening to everything, and we wrote more and more songs. We had like 26 songs. We're like, we're ready. He goes, nah, you're not ready. And I was pissed off, and I was like, fuck you, and blah, blah, blah. And so I hung up the phone, and I went to go see Almost Famous. And Almost Famous calmed me down. And it just made me go, all right, you've got the job that you've always wanted. Calm down. You know, it's not the end of the world. So went to the practice space, and I said, all right, they want another song, we're going to write the weirdest fucking song we can think of. And it was Hands on the Bible. And I thought we'd give them that song, and they'd be like, you're out of your fucking mind. And that was it. That was the one. They go, okay, now you're ready to make a record. So.
Interesting. And the first single was Half-Life, right? And Hands on the Bible just became what it became.
Yeah, Hands on the Bible never... I think the idea was that would be the second single, and that just never happened because, you know, something happened with that label, and then we're like, let us out of here, and you know, they're like, okay, you know, it's like, who do you think you are? How many records do you think you sell? Yeah, go ahead. You don't want to be here. We don't want you here.
Let's stay on that album for one more second. Fifth Avenue Crazy.
Yeah,
I've always loved that song.
Really?
Oh yeah, with the backup vocals and
Shannon from Sullen.
Yeah. Love the back and forth there.
Yeah.
You seem hesitant about.
When there's something that record, you know, that was after the Island thing happened, and you know, it'd been 4 years since Pack Up the Cats, and Pack Up the Cats didn't do what everyone thought it was going to do, and so I was kind of like, you know, I didn't have my bearings about me, you know, and Limp Bizkit was all over the place, and Shorts Rock was happening.
Shorts Rock.
And it was like, I didn't know what to do next. So part of me wonders if I had been a little bit more, maybe that riff is a little too, I don't know, you know, rocky. You know, I don't know. I
still love that song.
I mean, she sounds great on it, and I like the lyrics of it, and it's, you know, it's about midlife crisis, so it kind of should sound like that. But the idea of that record was we're going to have, we wanted to make it like a hip-hop record. So every song had a guest. And so we gave everybody different names. And so she was the guest on that song. So
that makes perfect sense. All right, let's see. We mentioned Ham-Fisted, Mayonnaise and Malaise.
That was the first song I ever heard. First time I ever heard us on the radio.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Malaise, yeah.
How do you feel hearing it now?
It's a lot of, the vocals are really high. They're very, very high. It's a lot of screaming, I guess. You know, we didn't really have a very good PA when we started, so I think my vocal style was born out of necessity to be heard. You know, we'd have a microphone and be plugged into an amp, and so in order for it to be heard, I'd have to sort of scream above the band, and so that's kind of how that started. So when you listen to Ham-Fisted, that's the product of a really shitty PA.
Well, and also I think as time has progressed and your songwriting
We've
has
gotten
evolved,
a better PA.
Well, there's
Yeah,
that.
okay.
But I feel like you started to trust your voice more as you recorded more songs and more albums. You started to do more with it and affect more nuance in your songs?
It's just aged. I think it's gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
When I listen to those old records, I sound like I'm 12. And
It doesn't sound like you're 12. I mean,
I don't really like to listen to my voice until like PJ Souls.
okay.
Like that's when I think it starts to get some character.
Well, okay, here's where I disagree. Fine and Good.
Pretty clean, I mean, I love that song.
I love that song.
I thought that was going to be
It really should have
the
been
one.
a great single from that album.
I really thought that was going to be maybe the third single, and it would blow up, and it would just be huge. And I mean, I remember writing it over there off of Montrose when I lived with Gabe, and I had the acoustic guitar, and I'm writing it, on sitting on my bed. I'm like, Gabe, come in here, listen to this. I was like, oh, I did it, I popped it,
And here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
The Last Picture Show in Zion. I love the slow build on this one.
Yeah, I like that too. It's a good album opener, and I got like this. I can't remember what the name of the pedal is, but you sound like Neil Young when you play it. So I wanted to like write this Neil Young, Rust Never Sleeps type of riff. And somebody, like, the movie theater in Zion was my high school job. I worked at a movie theater.
Got it.
And I got to, put the films together and run the projector and do all this stuff. It was great.
So this is answering one of the questions about where did this love of film come from, and you've always had it.
Yeah. I mean, this place is my childhood movie theater where I'd walk a mile and go see a movie. I didn't care what was playing. I'd see it, and sometimes I'd see it twice.
Yeah.
Just sit through the thing and watch it again. So when that got knocked down, it sort of this idea that, you're a small town without the movie theater. What is it? What is it anymore? Like, for me, it's like, what's the point? It was like the last thing that made it feel like home to me. And then when that went away, I mean, it still has Fritz's Corner, and I think I got sold. But it still has Pizza House. I mean, I like that place, but that was like such a huge part of my childhood, and it affected me.
Michelle again.
That was just a reference to Paul McCartney and Guns N' Roses, and there's a little Jet reference in there if you listen to it in the bridge.
I love that you just go all in with your love and classic rock references, the Toys in the Attic stuff. I mean, I love that. And okay, going down a little tangent here, your covers are always awesome.
Thanks.
I love 2112, which is a ballsy thing to take on.
It was. and balls really come into trying to sing that high. It does not. You don't need them.
All right, let's talk about another cover, Toxic.
Yeah.
That made me realize that's a good song. Just period. It's a good song.
It's a great song. Mm-hmm. It's a great song, and I feel like nobody. Well, not nobody. It was a huge hit, but rock people don't get it. They can't listen past the production. And my first favorite band, the band like when I was a kid that I grew up on, and I still love them with a passion, is ABBA.
Interesting.
And ABBA taught me just as much about songwriting as anybody, as the Beatles, as Led Zeppelin. They knew how to write a song like nobody's business, and nobody could really hear that because they can't get past the production and the singing. And what I wanted to do with Toxic was sort of show people that, like, hey, it's a really great song.
It really is. Well, speaking of ABBA, where do you stand on There's Something Going On by Frida?
I love it.
The drums.
No, it's great.
The Phil Collins drums.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah, Phil Collins had to get his hands in everything, didn't he?
At that period, he was everywhere.
Everywhere.
Well, going back to some of your bigger fan favorite songs, High Five and Motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we kind of understand the genesis. That's an enduring one. As we're talking about set lists and constructing one, you almost can't avoid playing that at a local aid show, right?
Right. That's
they'd run you out of town.
Yes, we'd be in trouble. Like we stopped playing Bound for a while. We did a couple of tours when Brian was in the band, and we just stopped just to see what happened. And it was fine. There were a few people that were kind of mad, but most people were okay with it.
See, I
don't
think
think
that's tricky because you've got to assume that at every show there's someone seeing you for the first time.
Uh-huh.
And maybe Bound for the Floor is what brought them in.
Right.
So I think that was kind of a risky move.
Yeah, I can see how it'd be a dick move. I mean, I remember seeing Sparkle Horse, and I wanted to hear that single.
Someday I'll Treat You Good.
Yeah, and they didn't play it.
Love that song.
And Wes and I were so mad,
Mark wants to know about the Lord cover.
The Lord cover's sort of the same thing with the Toxic cover, But with the Lord cover, everyone was talking about this person, and somebody told me they knew I liked pop, and you should check this out. So I listened to it, and I kind of went down a rabbit hole, with her stuff on YouTube, and then what hit me about Team was the lyrics. Like, the lyrics really, they sounded like they could have been lyrics that I wrote for one of the first couple records. I got all this stuff about small town and underdogs, and I totally related to it, So.
Am I freezing you out, by the way? I've got the AC cranked.
No, I just got back from vacation. I got a crazy burn scuba.
So this is
snorkeling.
kind of like an aloe breeze.
Yes, it's very soothing in here.
That's what a Mazda CX-9 is all about from the Autobarn Mazda of Evanston. What would you have me do?
Whatever you want.
That's a great slow burn song. I think it's one of the unheralded greats in the Local H catalog.
That was another one of the songs that probably wouldn't have happened without Michael Alago pushing us to write more songs. And the thing with that is, I thought it was okay. I didn't think too much of it. It was sort of like a rewrite using the same chords as Fine and Good,
Maybe that's why I like both those.
Maybe. But, I liked it, and then I didn't have the ending. Like, the original demo just faded out, on a guitar solo. And then I was walking to the practice space, and we were playing New Year's, I think, at Double Door or something. And the Hold Tight, it's New Year's Eve, it will be cold tonight, kill the heat, about this mass suicide on New Year's Eve. That started to get in my head. And then I started thinking about it, and then that became sort of the coda, like the coda of, the ending of The Chain, And so I started to think along those lines. And then I started to think, what if we have, it's super long and annoying and obnoxious, we have everybody from the record come back for a curtain call. So if you listen to that,
I didn't know this.
Yeah, every person that's on the record comes back. So Shannon comes back, Josh comes back, Wes comes back. They're all have their parts, and if you listen to it, you can hear it all sort of placed within that song.
I'm having like an M. Night Shyamalan moment, now that all the pieces are being put back together for me.
So that was the original idea of that record, was that it wouldn't be a concept record, and that it would be just 10 rock songs all in minor keys, and it would be like Back in Black. And then that, at the last minute, I just blew it by just doing that thing. And so, but yeah, I love that song. Now I love it, and I love playing it, and I love playing the ending so much.
I'm sure.
So,
Hand to Mouth. It's a very dramatic and majestic sounding Local H song.
Yeah, that's another, the older I've gotten, the more comfortable I am doing longer songs. I grew up on longer songs, like Pink Floyd.
Sure.
My favorite band in high school.
Really?
Yeah, they still are. Like, they're right up there with, it's really obvious with me, like the bands that I constantly go to are like Pink Floyd and Zeppelin and the Beatles.
See, Zeppelin and Beatles I would have pegged. Pink Floyd, just because you don't have that psychedelic freak out side.
Well, I do. And the older I've gotten, the more I've let it out. But if you listen to, think about how many of our records are concept records. Where do you think that came from?
Yeah, I guess that
comes from Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
So like Pack Up the Cats, the whole idea that all the songs bleed into each other, that's totally Pink Floyd. And that's from studying all those 70s concept records that they did inside and out, and knowing how they worked, and having part 1 and part 2 of songs and all that stuff. And like even Roger Waters' lyrics, You know, they're funny, but they're angry and they're sarcastic. I stole just about everything I know from that guy.
Did you see the Water shows at United Center a couple years ago?
It was great.
I couldn't believe how much I enjoyed those shows because in my head, I feel like I don't need to hear a Pink Floyd song ever again. I feel like I'm so tired of all those songs and just watching them come alive on that stage. And I've got to say, Waters is the first person I've ever seen who I think truly figured out how to maximize an arena. Like just with the stage setup and the animal stuff kind of bisecting the United Center. Like he really figured out how to put on an arena show.
Yeah, I'm starting to see more of that. And have you noticed? Have you seen it? Like, I went to go see Metallica, and I think there was some of that going on.
I love it. It's more immersive. And but yeah, all those songs. I mean, Breathe and Another Brick in the Wall, even a song I never thought I'd want to hear again with the kids singing along. Just it was a breathtaking night of music. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, like when they played dogs. Yeah, they played pigs, 3 different ones. I mean, I got the chills when he started putting Trump's picture up there, and it was just, oh man, like it's not exactly prescient, but it's just so of the moment, and he knows it. You know, it's crazy. Look, what's this?
Ozzy or Dio Sabbath?
Well,
that's a tough one to answer.
Well, the thing is Ozzy's the obvious answer, right?
Yes, but
Dio. See, like if you want to go outside the box and if you want to start some fights, you go with Dio.
Well, those first 2 albums Dio did in the 70s, Mob Rules and Heaven and Hell.
They're amazing.
They're amazing.
They're amazing. Dio was great. Dio was great. Now, you know, like Ozzy, his records are amazing, but half of them are not so amazing.
Yeah, the first 2 records were amazing. As far as Sabbath goes.
Sabbath.
Yeah.
Oh, his first 2 solo records, Ozzy's first 2 solo records were great.
Right.
They're great.
And then it was
so good.
But yeah, no, as far as Sabbath goes, I mean, the self-titled one, Paranoid, really Volume 4.
Masters of Reality.
Yeah. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
It's pretty great.
Really everything except for Never Say Die.
Yeah, I even like Never Say Die. Well, you know, I just say, like, it's just an obvious answer. Who needs an obvious answer? You know, it's...
I think Ian Gillan Sabbath.
That? Justine Bridget. She's got a problem.
I'm going with the Born Again album.
Oh, yeah. Trashed and Zero the Hero?
Yes.
So good.
I used to love Trash.
Trash is great.
We didn't really get to eat at all. And that is a problem with this food podcast because we're talking. It's hard to eat.
Yeah, well, I say we turn the thing off and eat.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. And I realize my phone is still cycling through a playlist on random. We got The Fall to listen to.
I know. Oh, the movie that... it is The Fall.
Marky Smith?
Mm-hmm. The movie that I saw today had a Fall song in it. It had Totally Wired.
I love... Deadbeat Descendant has one of my favorite guitar riffs in music history. Wait, one more question. This is a good one. Crowdfunding. Would you do it again?
I heard some bad, shady shit going on with that. We used Pledge Music last time.
That self-destructed.
Yeah, and we had a really good experience with it. But we did this thing where we would go to people's house with the record, a pizza, and a case of beer, and we'd play the record for you at your house, which at first was fun and it was cool, but by the end of the month of doing it, we were so bloated and our livers were hurting, and we were just like, because you know, we'll drink like a fish when we're on tour, but we're sweating it out every night. And there was none of that, and we were dying. So we'll take a break on.
You know, you can offer other rewards, you don't have to drink beer.
I just thought of that.
Yeah,
I just thought of that.
You can enjoy a Sprite, or Fresca, the grapefruit soda.
Yeah,
delicious.
Fresca's the best.
Fresca is the best.
Want a Fresca, Danny?
Always comes back to the movies. You're awesome. Thank you, Scott Lucas. Thank you for watching the Facebook Live. Thank you for listening on CarConCarne.com. And yeah, Cubby Bear, and of course, we'll certainly see you again after that.
And I want to say I'm doing that thing at Metro next Friday, the Hot Stove Cool Music thing, with a bunch of awesome people, and it's for charity, and it's a Cubs thing, and that kind of thing.
Well done.
All right.
And Steve, I work with Steve. He's a delight, a wonderful guy, a musician himself. Thank you, Scott Lucas. Just a blanket thank you for everything.
Thank you, Steve.
All right. Thank you for watching Car Con Carne, Local H, Cubby Bear.